Welcome to week 8 of the Oaks Farms Premier League. This week we saw the Goats drop to 3rd place. We saw Lightning Strikes jump to 1st and Brightview Financials in 2nd place. And this week we're coming to position round.
Well, the Goats were in 1st place for 7 weeks. They had some bad ones in there, and they finally met their maker the other evening, dropped from 1st to 3rd. But in the position round pairings, obviously they can go right back into 1st in one game. They're right where they want to be going into week 9. I feel any of the teams in the top 5 are really where they want to be after 25% of the league. It's amazing scoring last week. Some teams that we wouldn't think would beat people, all of a sudden with the handicap system in, bold monsters, and wait till you hear the scores.
We did have a 3,000, almost a 3,100.
We had a 3,000, we had a 1086 for 4. For a team with really a bad record, but all of a sudden when they got handicapped, they got loose. Things changed.
This team almost didn't make it. They got stuck on I-75 coming from Sarasota.
Well, the old
no practice, no nothing.
The old saying, better late than never.
They showed up and threw a bunch of strikes. All right, our first match. This was the Naples Fire Protection team number 1 with Billy Morgan and Dennis Beagle against TAPS, Daniel Hyam's team.
Well, Billy Morgan bowled 300 the first game. It was our second 300, although it wasn't on our scoring pair. It was on 25 and 6. It was a really good 300. About 9 dead flush, couple of rip racks. Then after the first game, I had an interview with Billy, and I asked him if he was going to bowl 800. He shook his head and said he didn't think so. But I didn't think, nor did he think, he'd bowl 147. And then the third game, he threw 279. So in games 1 and 3, he struck 23 out of 24 times for 579, but only ended up with a 726 series with 147 in the middle. Amazing.
That would have been the best 725 he shot back.
Oh yeah, that was, I'm sure you won't forget that. That's a very unique series because anytime you strike 23 out of 24 times, that's a 579. You got to figure 200 is 779. You would have never figured 726. Impossible. Impossible.
The Naples Fire bowled very well. I mean,
they bowled great. Andy Cox really snapping out of it. Really had a very bad start. 208 average going in. Shot to 520 the first 2. 723. Dennis Beagle 713. Dennis Beagle's second high average in the league. But Beagle only took 1 point against Bobby Taylor. Bobby Taylor the last 2 games were 212 and 220. Barely went by. Beagle was only getting 1 pin a game. Bobby Taylor getting what's he getting a game in handicap? He's getting 40 pins a game, excuse me. Getting 40 pins a game, so Dennis Beagle's got to beat him 39 pins every game.
I'd take that though.
Yeah, I would take 40 pins a game. I would take it from you, you'd beat me.
Oh, the Beagles.
The Connecticut guys always beat me.
They should. Yeah, but if you look at Beagle's total, he lost 716 to 717 to Bobby Taylor.
Yeah, he really was close. He lost total by 3 pins. He lost the second game by 31 and the third game by 4. But was in every match. Beagle's great. He's going to be in a high average race with Stouffer now, it looks like. It's really whittling down to those two. A lot of people that I thought would be up there really haven't got the best starts. Of course, there's 27 weeks left. Anything can happen.
A long way to go. Also, Andy Cox had a shot for 800. He went 265, 255 for struggling for the first 6-7 weeks. It's nice to see him striking again.
Well, they bowled 1043 the first game, and they were striking at will. Second game, they bowled well, except for Billy. Billy with the 146, he had 203, 255, and 228 in support. You'd never figure Billy with the low game of the 4 bowlers. Second game after 300, but that's why we all bowl, because bowling can trick you.
You ever shoot 300, 140, 270?
I had something happen to me in the 1972 Brunswick World Open. I went 299, 149, 299, 152 in a 4-game stretch in one of my 8-game blocks. 2 299s in 4 games and did not average 225 for the block.
Also that match, Ricardo Arena, he's a lot of fun. Remember, he had like the big string of strikes and went 3.
He had a 6-bagger, a 3 and a 3 out, and he walked back laughing, and I asked him if he was okay, and he said, he always does that. And I said, you always throw 6 in a row and get 3 out, and he giggled. He's a very nice man. He throws the ball good, too.
That was surprising. I thought
that really surprised me. Nice kid,
also,
good kid.
Naples Fire Protection shot 29.65 against the 28-76. So he had managed to shoot 28-76 and only getting 9 points.
Well, like I would say it all year, 28, big 28 should be the number, but all of a sudden last week, it wasn't the case. A lot of teams lost with big 28s, as you'll see in our rundown.
All right, the next match is a TV match. This is a fantastic match because first 2 games is decided by 1 pin. This is the Port Charlotte team of Billy Seymour.
Yeah.
Against team 11 of Mike Smith come up clutch twice, striking out in the 10th.
Well, they go 998, 997, 986, 985, and then the last game, they gave up, they only lost by about 32 pins, but it was enough to lose total. But the funny part about it is when you watch Mike bowl, he's so nonchalant, and in both 10 frames he came through. Daniel Gacera, every move he made was the right move with the wrong ball reaction. I mean, he was in, he would hang, he was out, it would jump, and I'm still waiting for Daniel to explode. Billy Seymour bowled fantastic, very impressive with Billy Seymour's bowling, and I like Billy Seymour's action, one of the best in the league.
I love the way he's throwing the ball.
I love the way he's throwing the ball. But Mike Smith getting 3.5 points, shooting 663, which was his best week since week 1 when he had 763, or real close to that. So that's really 6 bad weeks in the middle, and on the TV very pumped up a little bit, like the veteran he is.
That's great watching Mike Smith strike out in the first game to take his 998 to 997.
Yeah,
really
yeah.
fun to watch.
2 games, 2 pins. That just goes to show you when you're a team captain in this league, and any of your bowlers leave a 4, 6, 7, 10 in the middle of a match while they're working on a double, and they get frustrated and throw 2 pins in the gutter, which is 4, and you lose by 1, the first thing you got to say to that teammate is, don't ever do that again. You cost us a point. It could cost us the championship. So count is so important, especially when you're coming off of a spare lead that's impossible. You always want to play for the count.
It's like going 6-bagger, 3 out.
Well, that was different. I don't think Ricardo really wanted that. I don't think we'll see that for a while.
Don Schwartz Sr. had back-to-back sweeps last week and this week.
Did he really?
Yeah,
I didn't notice that. Donnie Schwartz Sr. with 8 in a row in sweeps, fantastic.
Yeah, one of those.
I did not know that. I think he's the first bowler in the league that's done that.
I think Oswald did it this week also.
Did Big Game James
Big
do
Game
it?
James, yeah, absolutely.
James loves the limelight.
You know, Don Schwartz Jr.'s bowling, he's bowling solid every week between 190 and 220. I mean, it's pretty
They bowled
solid.
pretty good,
Yeah, sure.
scratch. They shot 24-70. Both teams bowled well, 11 and a half, 12 and a half, just no movement. They're probably happy to break even if you really look at it that way.
Yeah,
Because they could have
absolutely.
you could have bowled like that and got beat real bad.
Absolutely. If Casero to bowl, better than he did, I guess
Yeah.
the whole totally different story.
Yeah.
And Joe Smith is very impressive.
Joe Smith looking good the
He's
first
throwing
2
the ball
at
great.
478. He throws it good.
Doesn't he?
I like the way Joe Smith bowls.
Gary Seward came out of the pro shop. He got 258, 224, and he shot 158 his last.
I think he got faked out the last game. He moved way left with a different ball, tried to fall it back, and that really isn't the shot when you're going straight. The third arrow plays the last game, but it plays if you're setting the ball down about 25 swinging it rather than going 17 to 15. I just didn't like that move. But Gary learned from it. He hasn't bowled in a while, but he bowled great the first 2 games.
Yeah, he threw the ball very well the first
Oh,
two
yeah.
games. All right, the third match is going to be the Team 13 Rolling Thunder against Team number 5 Hockey Baby, who moved the 4th. There's a lot of red circles on that.
Well, Hockey Baby bowled great with 20 points. That's the magic number in this league. If you can take 20 points, you're going to go by a lot of teams, and they did. Rolling Thunder just couldn't get out of their own way. Herb Klein and Ryan Rosser won the first 2 games. Then they got swept, and then, of course, Jason Land picked up a game, and John Toten, our general manager of our restaurant here, went to 547 with a win. But Anthony Ivanchek looking good all year. Jim Shirk, who bowled very well in the early part of the season. Bob MacGyver and Chris Ubik very steady. 25-30 scratch with 375 pins handicap. 2905 is a big number. For most teams, you should get a lot of points. But as you'll see, there's a few here that shot 2880 and didn't win any points. It's amazing. 2905 is a great number, a 20-point win for them. Put them into 4th place.
I mean, if you look at Hockey Baby scores, like Anthony shot 637, 718, Shirk shot 625, 733, MacGyver shot 640, 754, and Hubach shot 628, 700. They all both solid.
4 bowlers with 700 with handicap. That's a monster. That's a dream score there. With all bowlers clicking on all cylinders, there's the
That's what I'm
2905.
talking about. Teams
Yep.
putting together.
Yeah.
All right, the next match, match number 4, this is a great match. Beach Bowl, Team 15 against Team 7. Big B bowling tournament. These are 2 powerhouses in our league.
Well, Big James Oswald with the sweet bowling great, 640, 704 with handicap. Mark Pulaski Sr. really bowling well this year. after having severe foot problems the last few seasons. Gets the sweep, 723, 762 with handicap, 28.59 for a 14-point win. What's amazing is the team they bowled against shot 28.03 and only took 10. So all of a sudden now 2,800 isn't getting any points. It's sort of amazing. I really thought 28 would be magic. Now it looks like 29 might be magic.
I mean, look at Doug Lowe's shot 708, 804. Look at Wayne shot 701, 755.
Wow, Wayne bowled great. Carried the team. Doug Lowe's 708, Wayne Toplin 701, 1409. That's really great bowling. But Robert Hilton struggling, got swept. Robert Hilton is an excellent bowler, but Pulaski Sr. is nobody to fool with when he's striking.
Absolutely. What's cool about Robert Hilton's score? He bowled games of 203, 204, and 205.
Wow, the step ladder.
You ever do that?
Yes, but it was too low for me. I was not impressed. I like 279, 278, 277. Then I felt like I could beat them.
But yeah, I'm still happy Mark Peters going well. He's really excited to bowl again this fight.
Yeah, he is. He's motivated, showing some equipment, and obviously he's a great driller. And I'm happy for him. I'm glad their beach ball's falling well. I'm glad for James Oswald, because the more money James Oswald wins in the league, the more action there will be after the league. James is the stimulator of action.
Big game, James.
Big game, James.
All right, our number 5 match was the number 2 Frank Beans Chuck Rucker's team against Team 18 Audie Fort Myers Gary Sykes' team. This is a fun one.
Well, this was an amazing match because they got very lucky. The last game, Barry Sykes with 138 and Gary with 157. They won the game by 10 pins and team total by 8, and they almost gave it away. Where a few weeks ago, Gary and Barry, the last game, shot 227 and 279. So they're very disappointing for them. But Chuck Rucker holding his own with 630, but only got a point and a half. Mike Durkin bowled very well with 644, going 3-1 against Gary. But luckily for Audie Fort Myers, they took 14 points and had some bad games and some bad totals and still won.
What's really cool is the Chuck Rucker. Chucky, they tied series 696, 96, Barry and Chuck. So that's always fun when you tie for total.
That's where we got the half point.
Exactly.
I think that's one of the first times I've seen that. What's really interesting is when you see a team lose and you look what they won by, and then you look at the scores that cost it, you realize that one ball in this league, just one ball, could make a difference in 6 points by the end of the evening. So it's a lot closer than people think when you see a 14 and 10. It could have been the other way around with one ball.
Easy. Also, if you notice the totals was Team 18, Audie Fort Myers, 2804 to Chucky's team.
And they're looking for that 8 pins, and they're asking themselves, we just bowled 12 games. Where did we give away 8 pins? How many times did we give away 8 pins?
10 pins?
One spare.
Yeah. Guess what? They're going to bowl each other next week in this round.
Oh, they're going to bowl each other again?
Yeah. It's always fun.
Revenge coming.
They're talking a lot on Facebook yesterday.
I'm sure it was all good.
Oh, it's great. They're cooking like fight.
Oh, yeah.
I guess Ray Stevens was on vacation, so I guess Ray Stevens was I'm sure. All right, our number 6 match was team number 4, Robert Cares, against team number 20, the Killer Tomatoes, our friend Larry Lippman.
Larry Lippman's amazing. He goes 163, 147. In the last game, he goes 265. But the significance of the 265 is the team they're bowling against shot 980. He puts 265 in, they go 885, 796, 1033. So there's a team that has the potential to score a lot. The last game, 1,000 is a great number for a heavy handicap team. But 27-14 isn't going to make it for total. Like I've said all year long, 28, you got to be 28, and now it looks like 29 in a lot of cases. What's really interesting is there were 2 sweeps in this match, with Joaquin 697-14 beating Bob Apolloni, and Fred Engels beating John Rakoski 4 in a row, and that might be the first and last time we see that. I don't see Rakoski getting swept too many times in this league.
Well, this John getting swept is indicative of the season so far. The first game he lost 221 to 220, and then he lost the next game
207 to 201. Then he lost 249 to 246. So he's got 10 pins total, lose all 3 games and three game total. But 646 is well below his average. And as far as I'm concerned, anytime John isn't shooting 670, 680, he's not making the right moves. I know he's not happy with the shot, but it's only 9 weeks. I still figure John Rakoski's going to get to 230 average in this league, bare minimum. He's 225 now. I can see him averaging 235 the second 9 weeks and getting right up around 230.
Absolutely. It's fun seeing Rack at 225, Cobb at 226, and seeing Joaquin at 227.
And Cobb and Ricky Ward now really have a match in their $500 season bet for high average. Cobb right now is ahead of Ricky, but not by much, a couple hundred pins total, I think. Ricky's really closed the gap in the last month.
Oh, absolutely.
So Cobb better start shooting 700 every week because Ricky's coming.
Well, Ricky shot 700 this week, and Scott Cobb shot 699.
Yeah, but the week before
Cobb,
Ricky had 7 too. So Ricky's coming now. I think Ricky's let everybody know he's back. He's bowling great. Going to be real interesting to see this bet that they have for the season.
My doubles partner.
With Scott Cobb or Ricky?
Ricky Ward for Senior State.
Scott Cobb's my doubles partner.
All right.
We want to bowl you and Ricky.
Go ahead.
We want 150 pins a game.
Absolutely.
That's all I want is 150. What do you think?
It's like going 3 bowlers.
I need 3 bowlers.
This is Tick Transport against number 6 Luke, and Tick Transport shot the 3,092 set.
Tick Transport came alive. John Berkshire all season long, 460s, 480s, 520s if you look. 694. Preston Willis with 279, 257 the last 2. They take 19 points. 30-92, high total in the league, 1086, high team game in the league, all in one night. Now the next question is, did this team sort of throw off a little bit, Nate, in 7 weeks? Or is this their capability that we don't know about, or is it a fluke? A lot of people are going to ask that question when they look at this score sheet. I know that was my first thought, because there's a team in 22nd place going nowhere. And all of a sudden, 30-92. And again, it's handicapping. You can play the numbers any way you want. There's a lot of strategy going on in the league the first 7 weeks for average. And you're allowed to do that. Strategy is legitimate in a handicap league. All of a sudden, the minute the handicaps went up, look at their score. Best in the league.
Absolutely. What's interesting about this is they got here when practice was over because they got stuck on 75 in the traffic in Sarasota. So they got no practice.
No practice at all. And bowled their best score of the 8-week season. Unbelievable. I'd like to congratulate them. I'm just glad that a team that far lost could come back and have a week like this. It just shows every team there's a way.
Also, with their new average is like first year 184. I think it's like came in at 190.
Yeah.
Preston came in at 210, so he's 208. And Mark was at 184, 185, and Tony was in the 180 somewhere too.
So they're really close.
Yeah, they're closer entering averages. So there's nothing.
So there's nothing where they might have done new strategy. You know,
I have no idea. I watch them every week, and they're like everybody else, pair to pair.
I'm just amazed at how good they bowled after being as bad. Well, they were 23rd, 24th all year.
Yeah.
Or all of a sudden, team high game, team high series. But that's great. That shows them they can do it.
And first year had his best night of the week, best season, best week of the season.
Yeah.
694.
Nice man.
And Preston had his best week too.
I'm glad for John. His bowling family got Valerie, and John is, I think it's his nephew or son, is the Brunswick tour rep. Pretty cool.
All right, our next match is going to be the get it right here, get back on track here. It's going to be right here, the team number 8, 16th place, Diamond Security against Eddie Foods, Chris's team in 22nd place.
Well, Greg Lindsay finally coming alive with 675. I was talking to Greg about it on Saturday. He was very happy. Joe Ponzio with the sweep of Mark Pulaski Jr. Now that's a surprise. No one would figure Rakoski getting swept. No one would figure Mark Jr. getting swept. But that's the interesting part of the league. But right below Mark Jr., there's Rizzo and Schumacher sweeping Candelaro, and Chris P., who last week led the league with 684, gets swept a week later. Amazing how that happens.
Pair to pair, lefty to lefty.
Pair to pair.
Also, Mark's struggling. Mark Jr. struggling. I don't know what happened. He's on fire the first part of the season, and now
he was struggling until yesterday. He won the scratch tournament.
He did. He did one.
You know what's amazing too when you look at Chris P. getting swept. They shot 29-64. Chris had 614. Really didn't have much of a chance to win any of his games. But can you imagine if him and Andy is a very good bowler. If him and Andy get it going a little bit, they got a shot at 21 points.
Yeah, well, Jerry Lake had Andy sub because he got stuck in that I-75 traffic up there in Sarasota.
So he got stuck too.
Yeah, so he couldn't.
And Andy with 130, that's not Andy. Andy's a heck of a bowler. He's had 2300s in his house. But that happens. It's part of the sport.
Absolutely. Chris Hoyden-Stransky.
Yeah, that shocks me.
I've been practicing.
That same thing happened the week he led the league with 741. He come back with a low 6.
Yeah.
And he went 784, 614. Up, down, up, down. Catch the right pair. The transition's right for you. You get lined up. You can strike. You catch a pair that's a little tricky. Maybe the heads go a little earlier. Maybe the back end has a little carry down. You leave a couple 2-8 10s. You make an adjustment, a baby split. All of a sudden there's 170. It could happen.
Or you put him on the TV pair and he'll average 250 like he has.
Yeah, he bowled great a week ago.
And before he bowled on next to TV pair, so yeah. Guess he's a one-trick pony.
Mike Schumacher back with 694 in the sweep. He can bowl.
I like Mike. He's great. He's a nice guy too.
Yes, he is. Great guy.
Yeah. Good. Matt Rizzo shot 627, got a sweep, very below his average.
Yeah, and swept. And again, I wouldn't have bet a 627 with sweep Andy. Andy's pretty good, but that's the nature of 90% of 235. Handicap, anything can happen.
He runs the Social Security office.
He runs the Social Security office, one of the employees at the Social Security office here on Colonial in Fort Myers. Wonderful man, has helped a lot of people at Social Security. He's getting ready to move to Las Vegas. We're going to miss him.
If you see him, tell him Larry sent you.
Yes, tell him Larry sent you.
That's right. All right, our next match, match number 9, is going to be Team 10 Build 1. They're in 14th place versus Team 17 OMWB, who's in 15th place. They've been going down the proverbial chute lately.
Well, Lewis Martin finally bowling great, winning all 4 with 723. I like Lewis's game. He looked real well, real good the last few weeks.
Gradato.
And right above him, Joe's Gradato, 692, his high set of the year. Oh, I think he had 1,700, second high set of the year. Blake Barnard bowling well. Chris James struggling, 2868. That's the magic number. I like the high 28s. And look, 2,800 on the other side, only taking 8 points.
Right.
It looks like some 28s are starting to lose. That's a characteristic I didn't think would happen. That means the scores are going up. Bowlers are getting acclimated to the pattern. Especially after 7-8 weeks, you pretty much know what to expect now in transition. Looks like the scores are getting higher.
Absolutely. I mean, it's good seeing Joseph is matching up to the pattern now, and Lewis Martin's been struggling, and he just 723. It's nice to see the good bowlers are really starting to figure him out.
Yeah. Roy Parrish bowling well with 3-1 and 634. Roy works as hard as anybody in this bowling center. He's here every day at 5 practicing. I love his work ethic. He's always looking for secrets. He's always trying to figure out a way how to carry. He's a good bowler.
He's out there right now practicing.
Out there right now.
All right, our match number 10 is going to be the first place team. They jumped Goats, Team 12 Lightning Strikes, against tough team number 19, Stupid Corn. Just, I don't know what to say. These poor guys keep getting run over every week.
Well, Jared Eisenberg looked good 2-3 weeks ago. He's bowled very well. But Scott Cooper comes in as a roving sub. He's bowled 6 games in the league. He's got an 811 and a 745. That's the kind of roving sub you want. He gets the sweep. And then, of course, Clark Holloman bowling very well along with Chris Rich. And they're 194 and 221 averages. They're both 3-1, bowling extremely well. Mike Lloyd, Scott Whiteleather, Matt Pfeiffer, and Danny Wilson just struggling, taking only 3 points. Probably the worst night for them they'll have this year. Hopefully they'll bowl better this week in a position round. But boy, I like 21. 21 points is a monster. Put it right in the first place.
I think Stupid Corn lost 22 to 2.
Did they really? They had a 22 loss also. Oh my God. That's not good. That's a long ride home.
Yes, Scott Whiteleather and Matt weren't here, so they had 2 blinds also. That doesn't help. We had 2 blinds there. So,
21 points. What a great score.
And what, it vaulted him into first place.
Yes, it did. And the name of the team is Lightning Strikes.
What a great team.
That alone is amazing. To go into the first position round of the league, Lightning Strikes representing our facility. We'll be on lane 25 in the live stream. Number 1 after 8 weeks. What's that? Yes, and Lightning Strikes in the background there. Sorry, I missed that. And there it is again.
Yeah. They're in first place, see top 5.
Okay, here's something interesting now.
Team 11.
Team 11.
Match 11.
Yeah, Matt, it's amazing to watch what's going on here. There is very little consistency with all 4 bowlers in the league. Last week, 3 bowlers shot 700. This week, 2. But with Rapchin with 612 and Mike Alshire 585, I'm in shock. I would never believe that Mike Alshire would have had a worse week than his first week. He had it last week. He's lost. It's obvious he just doesn't know what to do on the pattern. He's tried a lot of equipment, a lot of hand position, moved his eyes, moved his feet, but he's still struggling. Bowling bad is lack of knowledge. Right now, he doesn't see something that's going on with this pattern. He's too good a bowler. At 219, he's probably 15, 16 pins a game under par.
He's so frustrated.
But he's got to be very frustrated. But Dave Stouffer again, keeping the league high average with 726. And Ricky Ward, the Bulldog with the broom. There it is, 238, 215, 247. The Bulldog really throwing the ball well and starting to make his move.
Yeah, they took on the Goats. First place team, they knocked them on a third with the 13-11.
Well, Jay Rucker saved the day, actually, the last game shooting 244 and the team winning. Rucker, without that game, if that's 180, they lose. So bottom line is they got team total because of Rucker's 244. He's the veteran. Absolutely. So Rucker carrying the team. Ice Martinez struggling, winning points. House Brown not bad at 630, but very disappointing for Clay McCollum at 481. He's going to have to do some work there coming into this week, or they're going to keep dropping. The last 3 weeks, they haven't had a week where they were plus. They
won last week, but they had like 2 bad weeks and a good week.
Oh yeah, that's right. 3 out of 4 where they didn't get 12.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. Yeah,
that's why they dropped the third. But they're in a great position. So the other thing is, anywhere in the top 5 is great after 8 weeks.
All right, our final match of the night is the second place team is going to be Team 20 Breakthrough Financial against team number 16 Rob Thor, my God's team.
That's the team that's probably been the most consistent since week 1. Tyler Floyd, John Pfister, Scott Chakowski, and Bobby Hamilton. John Pfister at 700, Scott Chakowski 685, both of them with sweeps. And JJ Feather doing a great job against Bobby Hamilton. It didn't bowl that bad at 638, but JJ the last 2 games, 279, 205. But again, 2709 isn't going to take anything. Too low. Obviously, the 421 by Josh Brown really hurt him with the 556 total. But John Pfister bowling great this year, averaging over 230.
His average changed this week, so we'll see how he matches up.
Yeah, I've been wanting to call him to all our audience watching. Wait till you hear my call on John Pfister's game. It's a perfect game. It is a game that's a 10. And his physical game is fantastic. He is a very good bowler, and I'm curious to see what happens to him when he turns 50. I would like his action on the senior tour.
Well, they're going to go on our TV pair.
Yes, they are.
They're on second place, so they'll be bowling lightning strikes.
They'll be bowling lightning strikes. It'll be great.
Yep. And
great to watch.
Then the Goats will be against okay. Behind me, they'll show behind me, but
the Goats will be playing Hockey Baby.
Yeah, that's right. Good memory.
With Anthony Avancic, Jim Shirk, Bob McIver, and Chris Hubert, who also bowled very well on 27 and 8. Jim Shirk bowled very well on 27-8 when they bowled on this pair, and so did Chris Hubik. So Bob McIver struggled that night, but it looks like he's coming alive a little bit.
The Goats and Hockey Baby, yeah, they're bowling each other.
Yep.
The next match, we got Beach Bowling and Staples Fire, Billy Morgan's team against Oswald's team. That'll be a great match.
Yeah, that's going to be a great match.
Right there, yeah.
James Oswald's an amazing bowler. The more I watch him bowl, the more I realize he's so much better than I thought. Of course, I didn't see him bowl for 5 years. I left here in 2014. Really got away from any of the bowling centers, and when I saw him bowl at the start of the season, he didn't look that different, but mentally he's different. He understands his game more, he knows how to read the lane. Very good lane reader. He's got good strategy winning bowls. Plus he played a game of pool for 8,000.
Really good match here. Big Jam Alert, which is Ricky Ward and those guys against
against Joe's. Oh yeah. Ricky's back. Yep. Ricky's last month he's looked fantastic. He's had 3 700s in 4 weeks. And he's going to carry that team now.
You think so?
Him and Stouffer.
Stouffer's.
Right now, Alshire and Ratchin are struggling. Ricky and Stouffer, if they can get Alshire and Ratchin loose, if they can keep shooting 700s and Ratchet and All Sure get loose, they can make a move.
Not worried much about Lee. He always grinds and figures it out. He'll start getting into a groove and.
They're getting frustrated. Their moves don't work. That's usually what happens. When you get guys that good, and they've got tricks in their hand, they've got speed control, they've got loft, they've got hand positions, they've got ball changes. When they've got 10, 12, 15 different things they know how to do well and none of them work, it becomes sort of hopeless for them because they really have more adjustments than anybody else, and when none of them work, it's a scary thing.
It is.
Yeah, to be that good and not have all those adjustments work.
They're averaging 217, 218, 219, so
Yeah.
they're going to really
Yeah.
blow up.
Well, they're getting a handicap.
Yeah.
That they probably don't want, but they're getting it.
All right, so are you excited for the position round on Wednesday?
I'm very excited for the position round. I'm excited for the league because I see some teams in there that nobody picked, including myself. I like that. I really didn't understand 90% of 235, but I think it really evens things out. If you have what I call a middle of the road team, but a good chemistry, and you click together, you can make a giant move in this league.
Yeah, there's parity now.
There is parity, no doubt about it.
So anybody can win. Just got to bowl together. You got to make your spares. And,
Well, this is the first position round. This is going to be exciting because now every team is going to pretty much make a statement as to who's going to be in there the rest of the season. We know the top 5 right now have made a statement, but there's some teams, 14, 13, 12, they go 20 and 4, and they jump right into a 5th or 6th position. That's what could happen this night. So I still think right now, 12 to 14 teams in the league have a chance to win it. I'm not counting anybody out 1 through 14
I think
right now.
Naples Fires, one of the teams that beat. I also think that Naples Fires won. I think Ricky Ward's team definitely a team that beat.
Yeah.
Oswald team is really showing.
Tell you what showed me
is
is Tick Transportation showed me all I had to see. When a team has been 23rd or 24th, and in 1 week, team series and team high game, that to me shows me that team there, if they can explode and use this as a lesson, that they can beat people badly, and they get that confidence, they go 3-4 weeks in a row, 2,900 plus, and start taking 20 points tonight. We'll see where they are in a month. You never know. It could happen.
Tick Transport's a team that beat Stupid Corner like 2905 to 2880.
Yeah.
They had 22-2. That was Tick Transport. It was
Yeah.
a great matchup. They
Yeah.
won by like 40 pins and they got 22 points.
Yeah, that's the part that's scary. Because when you see somebody 23rd, you don't think it's possible they can blow off a good team. Well, 30-92 and 10-86 for 4 can blow off anybody.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so we will see you in a couple days. Tune
Yep.
in for the position round. It's going to be very exciting to see teams 1, 2, 3, and 4.
And we will have action tournaments after the league.
As always.
Action tournaments this Wednesday night should be very interesting. Incidentally, John Van Buren, who in this league
I forgot.
last week shot 300 in the action tournament, and so did Billy Morgan. So we had 2 300s on 25, 6, 7, and 8, in really 3 hours of the league and the first hour of match play. So we got a lot of good bowlers on 25, 6, 7, and 8. Who knows? We had 800 on there by Jackie. Those pairs score. There are 2 very good scoring pairs. Hopefully we'll have another high score.
I can't wait to see you.
Me too.
Oh, I'll see you then.
See you all then. Please tune in. I'll be waiting.